Hello and welcome to Rob from the Internet Talks About Beer, a show where we discuss different styles of beer, beer history, beer flavor profiles. We give shout outs to breweries we think make exceptional beer, and we talk about whatever else happens to come to mind during the course of the conversation. I'm Rob from the Internet. Let's talk about beer. As always, if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you like my strange form of entertainment and education that I try and roll up into one little format, please click like, click subscribe, share the channel with your friends. Always trying to gain more followers and trying to get more people to try different beers. All right, with that out of the way, joining me today is Brad Clifford, the man, the myth, the legend, the owner of Clifford Brewing. Brad, if you would, tell me a little bit about yourself and how it is you got into the craft beer world.
Well, hey, Rob. How's it going? Thanks a lot for having me. Really cool to be on the show, finally. How did I get into brewing? Kind of the old story, started home brewing and thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to open a brewery one day? And turned out that actually happened. So, I was home brewing in Toronto, I guess around 2009, which doesn't even seem that long ago, but the craft beer world in Ontario was so much different back then. Really, you could only find craft beer in a handful of bars, like around in the Toronto area, even back then. So, like bars like Say What and Volo. I spent quite a bit of time at Say What, actually, because I played in bands that used to play there and would try the beers and would be really interested in some of these, what's a porter? What's an American pale ale? So it just kind of drove me to, I was looking for something new to do, a new hobby, I guess you could say, and I started home brewing and started picking up beers at the LCBO that I remember buying Anchor Liberty Ale and kind of being blown away by the flavors and, that big, the bite of the Cascade hops. And, I'd never, experienced a beer like that before. And then, hey, maybe I can make this.
And look at you now. So for people who don't know, Clifford Brewing is in the east part of Hamilton. Is that where you guys are located?
Yeah, so I've lived in Hamilton now for almost 8 years. I started brewing in Toronto, home brewing, and then I basically set up a small nano brewery to kind of extend I used to work in the financial world, like downtown Toronto, but I was getting pretty old. So I was basically like, how can I kind of take this hobby to another level? So basically I found some very partners, you could say, basically, that were interested in craft beer. And we kind of modeled, actually Bar Volo was already doing it because they had installed a tiny little brew system. I think it made like 20 or 30 liters in Volo, and you could buy the Volo house ales, I remember. So when we did a 2 hectoliter brew system, which seemed really big at the time, 200 liters. So basically,
right,
that made roughly about like three kegs of beer, 358-liter kegs of beer. So we were able to get a brew pub license. I was able to source the equipment from quite a few different places. Actually, homebrew stores, actually. Pretty much it was just glorified homebrew equipment. And much kind of like the Brew Magic system. And Blickman had just come out with some new fancy equipment. You could kind of do, forgetting the name of it. Basically, like different types of mash profiles. And,
you could do step mashing and things.
Exactly, yeah. What do you call it? The circulation mash, where it runs. I have a word
rims.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I was. Yeah, but I was trying to think of what that acronym stands for. Recirculation fusion mash system.
Infusion mash. Yeah. So. Recirculation infusion mash, and then there's the HERMS, which is the heat exchange recirculation mash system.
Yeah. On a larger commercial system, we don't do that. So, yeah.
You guys use steam? Is that what you guys are using for yours?
Yeah, it's all steam powered. Yeah, we have a 35 hectoliter brew house. It's all separate mash mixer, lauter tun, boil kettle whirlpool. Yeah, it's all steam powered. Yeah. So
it's
so
a
this
nice
was
looking
direct.
system.
This was direct fire, actually. So really, what it was, well, the bar Getwell, when the owners bought it, there was a little kitchen area in the back. When I say little, I mean like, I don't know, 10 by 10 feet, but it had a range hood. So we were able to basically, I had a friend weld up kind of a frame for it. Then we put Blickman burners in it, and then we put the kettles on top, and we were able to fit the kettles under the hood, and basically, brew on this system. And amazingly, we was able to get it approved. I mean, honestly, probably wouldn't have been approved if people really knew what we were doing, but I think we were using barbecue gas lines to run it. But
Nice.
Anyways, we got a federal excise license, which is kind of hilarious for 2 hectoliters of beer, and the brew pub endorsement, and started making beer, I guess, 2011 on this system at Getwell. Yeah. So that's kind of when I stopped home brewing and started spending all my time there making beer. Yeah.
Cool. And now in 2019, you guys won. Was it the best brewery in Canada? Is that what it was?
Well, that's Canadian Brewery of the Year. It's that's the award.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's the award given out.
I just couldn't remember what it was called.
Yeah, basically every year the Canadian Brewing Awards, which the Canadian Brewing Awards is that's always been the premier competition in Canadian brewing for craft breweries for the last, I'd say, 10 years or more. And it's honestly something I never expected to win. Like, if you had told me back in 2012 that would happen. Competitions, I got into brewing because entering my beer in competitions, and that's what encouraged me that my beer was good enough to be like, oh, maybe I can make this. People want to drink it, right? So then, I understand that the criticism some people have of competitions, because not every brewery enters, but I think the quality stuff rises to the top, and we don't win every year in every category, well, except porter. But I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, you guys make a fantastic porter.
Yeah, but the competition has been great in terms of like being able to promote the brewery. And being able to win that Canadian Brewery of the Year was something very unexpected, but very, very valuable because I don't have a big marketing budget. This is a brewery that was started by myself, my father. With the limited money we had to put into it, and basically all we had is the quality of the beer to go on. So the quality of the beer was able to speak for itself. And we've been able to grow the business exponentially over the last, hard to believe, 5 years since it's been open in Hamilton.
Really? It's only been 5 years. I would have thought it would have been a little bit longer than that. But you guys have a nice facility. I was just there the other day when it was blazing hot outside. But the thing I like about your facility is it's one of those types of tap rooms where you can walk in and you can actually see people brewing beer. And as a matter of fact, you guys were brewing when I was there, and it's always nice to see, to see that.
Yeah. The last 3 days we've been brewing and canning 2 days before that. So that was always I always did have in my mind the idea, because I'd been in breweries where, and honestly from a cost standpoint too, it's like, oh, you just get a warehouse space and you put the brewing equipment over in the corner and you put the bar in this corner, and how can we do this as cost effective as possible while making it as cool as possible for people to enjoy, being able to be right in the action, see what's going on. That was always kind of the idea that I had. And when we found the location on Nash Road North, I mean, it seemed perfect. It was just a big open warehouse. It had a roof, it had walls, it had cement floors, high enough ceiling to fit tanks in, though they were custom made to fit just under the rafters. It was a really perfect location because it's right off the highway. It was just far enough away from everything that, the rent was very reasonable. It was a building that had been sitting empty for a while, so they were more than happy to rent it to someone. It worked out.
Yeah, your facility is really easy to get to. At least for me. I mean, I live in Brantford, and for me, it's I shoot down the 403 over to the link and just
Yeah,
shoot right
across
on down
I live
to your
right
neck of the
off the
woods.
lake. I live right off the link. Takes me 15 minutes to get down here. Jesse, one
Yeah.
of our employees, he lives in Brantford. He drives back and forth 4 or 5 days a week, but it takes him a half hour.
Yeah. It's not a hard drive. It's a straight shot from pretty much a straight shot from here once you hit the link and it's real easy to get to. I was there to get my Perdome certification for level 1. It was a great place to do it. You guys were very accommodating for that. I mean, and like I said, it's a nice facility because you guys have the working brewery right there. You've got all your stuff on tap and your retail stuff very accessible. And you got lots of tables, and during the summer, like right now, you have your outdoor beer garden, which is absolutely fantastic because there's usually a pretty good breeze blowing around down there, even if it's really hot.
Well, yeah, because we're right off the water, just the other side of the QEW. Yeah, so we're very close to the water down here too. Yeah. So, and we're very close.
Awesome. Well, my sense
of humor, I was going to say, we're very close to the Hamilton dump too. So, the joke is if you're making a dump run, you got to stop in and pick up some beer.
You got to stop in. the fragrant Hamilton.
Yeah,
dump.
sometimes that blows over. Actually, I think they fixed it so it doesn't so much anymore. But I just made a dump run today. Yeah, it's very, very convenient. Over on
very convenient. All right. Well, I just cracked chain link. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this beer?
Yeah. So chain link, it's a Vienna lager. Basically it was a Vienna lager. I think I first probably did a homebrew batch somewhere around 2010 or 11. And then probably the second or third year of the brewery, it was a style I had in mind. I wanted to make one because I've always really enjoyed them, like the crispness of the lager, but also the nice, just the maltiness, the character, the really nice malt character that you get from Vienna malt. It's very it's a more subtle than basically some of the caramel malts by using Vienna. Yeah. So
and it gives it a depth that just a standard lager doesn't have.
Exactly. Yeah, like a more. Actually, that's one thing kind of interest. I've always really enjoyed brewing lager beers, even when I started home brewing, because it's kind of a thing like, oh, you can't brew lagers if you're a home brewer because you don't have temperature control. But I found ways. They were not very sophisticated, like taking a carboy and putting it in an ice bath and letting it ferment the first couple of days. And then at Getwell, I made a number of lagers. I made a German Pilsner. I made a Vienna. I would do, let me see, other German lagers like Weizenbachs and whatnot. I'm just getting up on my screen here. So yeah, I've always enjoyed working with lager yeast. And the Vienna is just a style I really enjoyed. And there wasn't really any out there in Ontario that I can kind of... Oh, no, St. Andre. That comes... Yeah, St. Andre's. That was in the Ontario market going back a ways. But you say Vienna, a lot of people don't know exactly what a Vienna lager is. You say an amber lager. They have
right.
No idea. So, so we first made it at the brewery. It was just called Vienna. Basically, because I couldn't think of a name. So we put Vienna Lager, and we sold it as that for a year or two. And we found out that it was one of the biggest sellers in the tap room. People really seem to gravitate towards it, even more than the East Hamilton, because I think it has a little less bitterness. The IBUs are more like 20, 25. So it's a little more easy drinking even for some. So we sold it as Vienna Lager for a year or two, and then it's such a great approachable beer. We thought, how could we market this to the LCBO? Or if we were going to put in the LCBO, what would be a good name for it? And we came up with Chain Link Lager, kind of sticking with the kind of industrial theme of Hamilton, basically. So the artwork is the Chain
Hamilton's
Link.
A very blue collar town.
The what's that?
Right. I said Hamilton is a very blue collar town, so keeping in that theme is probably very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of our best selling beers, really popular, and it's been the LCBO now for a couple of years. We swapped that out. Actually, we had Devil's Punch Bowl in for a while, another lager. This is basically a dry hop lager, kind of a hybrid of an IPA lager style. You can almost, like, a lot of people are calling them now, like cold IPAs. So basically, we hop it a little higher, we lager it in the tank, and then we've been using cryo citra. Is really nice. Just gives it a little more kick on the dry hop.
Nice.
And it's one of my favorite beers that I probably drink the most of, because it's the lower alcohol but big on flavor. I think
that's a thing right now too. That's the trend, is lower alcohol, big flavor. I mean, you're seeing a huge trend, like even towards the non-alcoholic beers and stuff. So having the lower alcohol alternatives is great.
Yeah, we did another IPA, a session, Bells and Whistles, a session IPA. This one, we try to do it more like it's a hazy with a lot of hops. But it's got that nice around 5%. So if you have 2 or 3 of them, you're doing okay.
Yeah. I tell you, one of my favorite beers that you guys make is Dark Streets of London, because I'm a big fan of the ESB style, and you guys did a while back. You did a cask aged version that you guys were selling in the 4-liter boxes. And it was absolutely fantastic, but it was also absolutely dangerous because it's lower carbonation. So you just pound through it. I went through 4 liters in like 2 days. I was like, oh, man, I'm out of beer.
Yeah, it goes down pretty easy, without the carbonation.
It sure does.
Yeah. And you were at Because Beer. I saw you there. We had a cask of a fresh batch of Dark Streets of London. We actually...
I had some.
It's in our bright tank now. We're going to can it. Monday or Tuesday, we're canning a new batch. And kind of the exciting news is we've decided to put that in the LCBO. We're going to try it for a while. Yeah, so you can expect likely it's going to be October, but we're going to swap out the chain link for Dark Streets of London. Basically, we're kind of finding that, I'm sure many of your viewers are familiar with the LCBO. Like, it's quite a process to get a beer in there. And right now,
you have to buy the shelf space, right?
Yeah, well, you don't so much buy the shelf space, but to get new listings, like right now we have 3 beers. We have Clifford Porter, which of course is the staple. That's the flagship that we sell so much porter. We're never going to take that out. Maybe never say never, but I mean, that's the beer. That's the number 1 seller. But the second beer, at one time I had Pinball Wizard in there, which sold amazing for a while, but then kind of slowed down. We thought we'd try Devil's Punch Bowl. It's sold pretty good for a while, but people are fickle. They're always looking for something new. So we've always been kind of trying to hit on that second beer that we could sell a lot of. So then we switched it for the Vienna chain link, and it's had 2 years. Now, mind you, that's been over 2 years of the pandemic as well. So LCBO sales did take a bit of a drop, we found. And the LCBO right now, you're competing with all the seltzers and ready-to-drink mixed drinks. And honestly, it's kind of tough out there for craft brewers right now for LCBO sales. So I think we did quite good with the porter. And I think Dark Streets would be it would complement the porter, because if people who drink the porter are probably really going to like the ESB. And essentially,
I agree.
Then we'll just become the Fullers of Ontario, I guess.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If you make a good product and it's complementary with another one of your products, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you guys, not to blow smoke up your ass or anything, but your porter is fantastic. And like I said, Dark Streets is my favorite beer that you guys make. And Chain Link is probably my second favorite. And then right now I've been enjoying your Brave Captain. That's also nice. I like that. I mean, you can see a common theme here. I like that kind of malty profile. I like the the sweeter beers and the ones that are lower in the bitterness, but still have a little bit for flavor. But that's my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and that's actually what we find most people coming in. They're either looking for, like, they tend towards the malty side, the English beers, or just the IPAs, or the lighter lagers. So we try to keep like a regular selection. So whoever comes in will have, we'll have something in that category or a couple beers in that category for them, not just one. And we messed around with the sours, just to mention quickly, the sours for a while. We did a bunch of different fruited sours, and they were pretty good. And we actually have one in the LCBO now, because the LCBO does like sours. So they have our blood orange pink guava fruition sour. It's a really good sour, really tasty fruited sour.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a really nice fruited sour. It's not overly acidic. It's not overly tart. It's got great fruit flavor.
Yeah. So, and we're going to keep making those, but they're more like, probably more on a seasonal basis. But, so yeah, we got the sours, we got the lagers, the IPAs. We always have 2 or 3 IPAs going, and, we're just as proud of the IPAs. Like, Clifford Brewing's not known for IPAs, but I think our broke down palate could stand up against any Ontario IPA.
Yeah, I know several people who really enjoy who are IPA people that really enjoy your IPAs. I'm not so much an IPA person. I mean, I've said it many times. If I'm going to drink an IPA, I want it to be an old school traditional English IPA.
Yeah,
you can keep
your
your hazy NEPAs and
yeah. We do. Well, actually, our collab with Grain and Grit, the New England IPA, All Roads, that's really popular. And
yeah, my wife likes that one.
Yeah, and I think we're going to make that this fall, maybe even sooner. There's a talk about bringing it back a little bit sooner than around Christmas. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to open up some Brave Captain. So,
cool.
give me a second.
Yeah. I didn't really mention Pinball Wizard, but
this is Brave.
Oh yeah, there's Brave Captain. Yeah, I was just gonna say Pinball Wizard too is. That beer goes back to like one of my oldest, Porter and Pinball, the 2 Ps. Because I first made those at Get Well, they were called Porter and Pinball. And then I was contract brewing those 2 beers, just those 2, for probably a better part of 2 to 3 years. Yeah, Pinball is actually one of our top sellers at bars and restaurants.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, because it's kind of similar to Sierra Nevada, like just a really good old, in a way, I guess you could say old school American style pale ale, but very drinkable, very enjoyable. Yeah, it's one of my favorites to like. I drink that a lot more than the IPAs.
So tell me a little bit about Brave Captain, if you would.
Yeah, Brave Captain. So I guess about a year ago, we're trying to think what's something new we could try, and the idea of doing an English mild came to mind. Just something like around 4%, but like really enjoyable, easy drinking. Great depth of malt flavors. So me and Scott Darby, who brews with me, he was very involved with the recipe for that beer. So honestly, we kind of just like look at like the malts, like, what's out there these days. And I heard amber malt's really nice. Maybe we could try some amber malt, a little bit of pale chocolate. Really, just keeping the ingredients very English. And then we look at what would be a really nice English yeast. And, we kind of just experiment. It's kind of just like, we talk about it for a while. Like, well, why don't we try this? Like, then I look at the price and I go, I don't know. Half kidding. Stuff's expensive.
Well, I do have to say it has a beautiful color. It's got a nice aroma, and it's funny with this one, at least for my palate. I find it's not a bitter beer. Obviously, what is it? It's like 24 IBU according to the can. But I find that the bitterness is front loaded on this one a little bit. So you get it up front and then it disappears. And then you're just left with that wonderful malty sweetness. And it's got almost like a coffee kind of aftertaste to it, which is kind of weird for an English mild, but it's nice.
Yeah, I think that's from the pale chocolate malt. It gives you that that kind of coffee, and it's a little different than regular chocolate malt, and we don't use very much. Like really, it just like helps with the color, and the amber malt, it gives that little like added toastiness. The other thing I should add, like as I said, the ingredients are really important. So we do use all Maris Otter malt. So basically, we spend the extra money on the really good English malts, and it makes a difference. Yeah. So
I mean, and it shows because every beer, like I said, I don't try to play into anybody's hands or anything like that. But every beer I've ever had from you guys has been a great beer. There are styles that I don't like because they're not my thing. But I can't say that they're bad beers. They're just beers that I don't care for. But every beer style that I like that you guys make, I really enjoy, and I tend to buy a lot of it. I mean,
thanks.
Well, I think I bought 3 of the.
I was just gonna say the other thing too is, we make kind of beers that we like, or we kind of like, honestly, when we made the English mild, I'm like we're not going to sell a lot of this. It's going to be a great beer. We're going to enjoy drinking it, but it's like no one knows like what's an English mild or what's a. But to my surprise, it sold really well. It sold really fast. But I'm just saying the drinkability is kind of key. Like when you're making the beer, that's the thing, is making a beer that people are going to drink it and be like, that's a great beer. Like I'm not going to buy 1 or 2. I'm going to buy 6 of them, right? Because I love that beer. Drinkability is key, and of course repeatability of brewing, being able to brew the beer again the same way. So those 2 elements kind of go a long ways to making good beer.
Yeah, I think the other day when I was in there, that was the least amount of money I've ever spent going in there, because I only bought 4 Chain Link and 4 Brave Captain. Normally, I'm walking out of there with at least a flat of beer, and it's usually like half cans and half of your special release bottle. So I'm usually walking out of there dropping at least $100 or whatever. But I walked out and I'd spent like a total of like $50 on the beers I had there and the beers I took home. I'm like, this just feels wrong.
Well, I like to think here you probably get more beer for your money here. We're not charging. We're charging like $3.50 a tall can for a lot of our beers. We're not charging.
Yeah, your prices are great. I mean, it is a good value for the money, and the flavor and the quality is there. I mean, you're not skimping, and you're not cutting corners, obviously, because your beers are fantastic. And I mean,
we're all very proud of them.
It shows.
Yeah, and everyone who works here puts, they put a lot of work into the beer, and a lot of pride. Not just myself, Scott, Bruce, the other guys helping me brew the beer. Well, sorry, for the most part now they're brewing the beer because I'm busy doing a lot of other things.
Yeah, you're doing all the menial stuff, and they're doing the actual brewing.
Yes.
So how many people do you guys have there at Clifford?
Right now, I think basically about 8 people, including myself. So, including all the taproom staff, brewery staff. I mean, there's a lot of overlap too, like. People who work in the tap room also work on the canning line, also do some deliveries. Everyone just kind of pitches.
I mean,
that keeps it more.
But that's right, and that's to be expected in a craft brewery these days. I mean, unless you're one of the really big craft breweries, you have a smaller staff and everybody wears multiple hats, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just Well, I was there the other day. I can never remember who was the bartender the day I was there.
It's probably Krista or Laura. Wednesday, actually, probably Laura.
No, it was one of the guys.
Oh, Jesse.
It was one of the guys.
Or Dan.
I can't. Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm the first to admit I'm really terrible with names. It takes me like 5 or 6 times of hearing someone's name to actually remember it. But yeah, he was out like picking up stuff outside, cleaning up a little bit outside because some trash had blown onto the property. And then he goes in, he washes his hands, and he's behind the bar and he serves beer. And then he has to go in the back and grab stuff when people are buying stuff. So yeah, I mean everybody wears multiple hats, but yeah, I mean 8 people. I mean that's still pretty good. I mean that's a decent workforce for the size of your guys' facility.
Yeah, and the first year, like we were, myself, sales rep, really one person working the bar, Jeremy. There was like 3 of us, then 4. The first 3 years, there was basically only 4 of us working here. When we won Canadian Brewer of the Year, 4 people. Yeah, which like people were pretty.
That speaks volumes, though. That shows the commitment that your employees have and the pride they take in the job.
Yeah. Back then, awesome. Too, come to think of it, we weren't opening the tap room like during the entire week. We had retail, but we were really just opening on the weekends.
Yeah, now, that's common though.
Oh yeah, very common. Whereas now though, we're open every day, pretty much noon till like 6 Monday to Tuesday. And then till 8.
Monday to Tuesday?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. And then Wednesday through Saturday till like 9 or 10. And then Sunday till 6. Yeah, so. But we're open every day. The only days we close would be like Christmas Day, I guess, New Year's Day. We're open every holiday.
Yeah. You close for the absolute major holidays, and the rest of them you're open.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So Brad, tell people where they can find Clifford Brewing if they actually want to visit your facility.
Well, probably the best place to get the beer is right here at 398 Nash Road North. We're right off Nash Road. You can see us from the road. And Nash Road North is off Barton Street in East Hamilton, just after it crosses the Red Hill Valley Parkway, depending which direction you're coming from, but
which way you're going.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier, we're really like people think, oh, they're way over on the east side of Hamilton, but we're right off the highway. So I mean, you probably good chance you've driven by here at one time. So yeah, very easy to get to, and so yeah, all the beers. Usually we have like 12 beers on tap in the tap room. We have regular events here, like many tap rooms, whether it's like trivia nights or a lot of live music. Haven't got into that, but we have live music here on a pretty regular basis. A little less this summer, but we're going to have a lot more coming up in the fall, where every Friday, Saturday, There'll be live music in the tap room. And then
I remember. I think it was last year I was out there and you had live music in the beer garden, which was nice.
Yeah. I think it might have been my brother playing.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, but we booked a few. That was because it seems so long ago now, but we barely didn't have the indoor seating. I can't even hardly remember. I don't think we were able to have indoor seating, and we weren't sure if we wanted to try doing the music inside, but we thought, well, why don't we just throw up the tent and do it outside? So yeah, I think through the month of September we had like live music going on out on the patio, and then come October we did move it inside. The restrictions had been lessened quite a bit, and then we actually had a pretty good fall. November. It wasn't until mid-December with the Omicron thing, everything kind of shut down again. But since and January, another shutdown in January, that wasn't great at the beginning of this year, but pretty much since mid-February, it's been full steam ahead for us. March, April, May.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we've been quite busy.
And I assume things are, I was going to say, I assume things have been busy because, I mean, beer is one of those things that people want it. So I assume that you guys are busy still making it. And obviously you survived the worst parts of the lockdown and everything. You're still around making beer and selling beer. So that's good for people like me.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky just to be able to keep our retail open. We did a lot of home delivery. We have a lot of really loyal customers that are fantastic. So they really help keep us in business. we see a lot of the same faces every day that we know and love by name. Yeah, one of them might be you, Drunk Pokeroo, if you're watching this.
That's right. Well, yeah. He watches the occasional the occasional episode, and when I publish this episode, which will be in I don't know 2 or 3 weeks, I'll make sure to let him know that he got referenced by you in it, and then he'll make sure to watch it.
Oh yeah, well, I've been a poker
He
for
always
a while.
wants.
Yeah, I think I just saw him a couple of days ago. Yeah, and we always know it was kind of, he's been, actually our first canning run, he came over and helped us with the canning run. Yeah, because I remember my dad was here on the line, a couple other friends. It was actually, it was ridiculous. It was like one of those, an episode of, was it Lucy, where the cans are coming down and you can't put them all.
Where they're doing the chocolates?
They're falling off the table, going everywhere. We were gluing boxes. We were gluing boxes by hand with a glue gun because we didn't have the proper boxes. It was a total shit show. But I just remember Poke was good. Yeah, but it's always funny whenever we post a new release. Like we just set the timer, and he's usually in within like about a half hour to get the beer.
Is it here yet? Is it here yet?
Yeah.
So for people who might be interested, you guys sell cans, you guys sell bottles of special release stuff. Do you guys do kegs to the public and things like that as well?
Oh yeah,
is it just strictly the bottles and cans?
Yep, we sell actually quite a bit of kegs. Yeah, so we have a lot of regular customers come back. Pretty much kegs of all our core brands. So East Hamilton, Crusher, Devils, Pinball. We will sell kegs of some of the specialty, but we just can't guarantee we'll have it because it's we have to hold some back for bars that have ordered it. So,
no, understandable.
Yeah, but we were more than happy to sell a keg, sell a 2-4. We pretty much we'll sell beer to I was gonna say anyone as long as you're of age.
As long as you're of age and you have the scratch, they'll sell you beer. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know because maybe next time I'll come down and just grab a keg so I can have some on tap here at home rather than having a bunch of cans.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Well, Brad, we have been talking for a little over 35 minutes, and this is the part where I say this is the end of the show.
Okay. Wow.
Again, I'd like to thank. I
don't do these a lot.
I'd like to thank Brad. Well, and you know what? As I've said, I've been having a little bit of trouble getting guests on for season 3, so it's fantastic that we were finally able to get you on because, I mean, we've been talking back and forth. I don't know for
we met over
a year or so, and
a couple of years ago,
yeah, and I've wanted to have you on the show. It just hasn't worked out until now, and now the schedule is synced up, so this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, if you're in East Hamilton, they're on Nash Road, right off of what's the other road?
Barton.
I'm not from Hamilton. Obviously, you can tell I live out in Brantford, where all our roads are. You turn left at the third cow.
Of course, these days everyone just Google Maps or Waze it anyway. So just put it in your phone and it tells you how to get here, right?
So if you find yourself on the QEW headed through Hamilton, take a pit stop, hit Nash Road, hit up Clifford. You won't regret it.
Or actually, I was going to say too, like our website, cliffordbrewing.com. You could look at that, and we have a lot of our upcoming events on that, so you can see what's happening with music and we also now offer delivery all over Ontario. So that was something during the pandemic that became really important to us. So we get a lot of orders now from like London, Ottawa, pretty much anywhere. I think we just sent some beer to Manitoulin the other day. So and it's all for a $15 flat shipping rate. Whether you just get a 6-pack or a case, it's the same price, and you can just order it online.
Awesome.
And the courier we use, I mean, people usually get it in a day or two. It's pretty fast. So Yeah. So,
Yeah, I've discovered that with a lot of the Ontario breweries. Like I ordered stuff from Lake of the Woods, which is up, up
oh yeah, I know
way
Lake of
up
the Woods.
north.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I got it in 2 days. I was like, holy cow!
Yeah. Yeah.
They use they use I think it was Canpars who they're using, and those guys seem to be on the ball when it comes to getting deliveries across Ontario.
Yeah, Campar we were using, now it's ICS Courier, and they're even faster, it seems like. So,
Yeah, they're another fast one as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Brad, it's been a pleasure. And
Yeah,
until
thanks,
next
Rob.
time, I'm Rob from the internet. Cheers.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks again.